Buff Nation, what's going on? Hope you're having a wonderful start to your week. As you can see, I am still on the road, so we're going to have a different setup here for a little while, but I promise I'll be back with the normal background next week. But wanting to get into three players that I have that could be sleepers for some sort of all-conference team in the Big 12 coming up this year. So that could be the third or second team, first team. Obviously, we talked a couple weeks ago about guys who are on preseason all conference lists, but wanted to give my 2 cents on some guys that I think definitely by the end of the year, CU's coming out and performing how we expect. We could see these guys on some sort of level of team for all conference this year. So, of course, y'all let me know who you have as a sleeper candidate for all conference, what you think about these names. Y'all let me know, but let's go ahead and get started. Wanting to start on the defense, okay? If we're going to see an improvement from the defense, of course, we're going to have guys like Deion Hayes, BJ Green eating, okay? Samuel Okunloa, maybe a guy like I've talked about, Anquin Barnes or Quincy Wiggins really shows up and has a huge jump this year for us. That would be fantastic. But in order for us to reach, bowl game minimum expectations, right? We're going to need some darn good linebacker play. I think, hey, if we're reaching expectations this year, Nikhai Hill-Green is leading this team in tackles, okay? And had 73 total tackles this past year for Charlotte. I think that he's about to play his best football this year ahead of him and hopefully get himself some NFL draft interest coming up in the future, right? What I love about him, 6'2", 232 pounds, NFL-sized linebacker. Not only can he play the run strongly, but he can also play coverage in the pass game as well. Nikhai Hill-Green is a huge upgrade to what we've had in the linebacker room, in my opinion. And I think him and probably most likely Levante Bentley with some of our other linebackers rotating in and out, I think makes up for a really good tandem. I think that he's listening to some of the interviews that he's done. It's clear that he's just a natural leader. And I love the fact that we have this in the linebacker room for CU. I wonder who's going to be calling plays, who's going to be wearing the green dot. We'll see. Maybe it's Nikhai Hill-Green. So that is player number one I have on my all-conference sleeper list. Let's go ahead, not move on to offense, but y'all know I love special teams, so let's give some love to special teams. If CU's having an amazing year, how can Alejandro Mata not be an all Big 12 kicker? All right. Yes, we've seen Mark Vassett get the love, okay? Being on these preseason all conference lists. I love that. But Mata, last year, 10 of 12, kind of splitting kicks at some points with Jace Feely. But I feel like this is fully his job in terms of place kicking going into this year. He's going to be the guy to make the kicks. We saw him make a career long for 47 yards last year, the last game against Utah. I've been saying, Mata, hit the squats, hit all the Redcon one and more, right? I want to see you have a fantastic year. 83% on the year. We need to do better. What I'm hoping is instead of 10 of 12, with the offense being better this year as well, offensive line, all that, we see like 19 of 20 place kicking. And I want to see 100% percentage on attempted extra points because he did miss one last year against Oregon. That was kind of blocked. Wasn't really his fault. But Mata, I do think that we can get that percentage up and we can get the amount of field goals that he's attempting up as well. I would be thrilled to see him on one of these all Big 12 lists as a kicker. And yeah, if you're averaging 94, 95% field goal kicking, that's really, really great. And I think that would put him in to all conference considerations. I'd be thrilled about that. Now, let's go ahead and find somebody from the offense. This could have gone to a handful of people. I would say that our interior offensive line is going to be our strength when it comes to the offensive line play. And, you could put Tyler Johnson, Tyler Brown, Jamal Mayers, or Justin Mayers, sorry. Any of those guys, definitely, depending on who's starting at the guards, I could see them all equally having that opportunity to be on one of these teams. But I thought, let's go with the guy that Coach Prime has brought in here that has been developed under Coach Prime, kind of becoming one of my favorite players, or guys that I just have like a rooting interest in, is expected to be starting center Hank Zilinksas, Colorado kid, 6'3", now up closer to 300 pounds. And at Englewood, Colorado, seems like Phil, all my guys know their assignments. Holt has been very pleased with him. And if CU is rushing for over 1,000 yards on the year, hey, could I even dream of us averaging over 100 yards a game rushing? Wouldn't that be fantastic? Let me move myself out of the way here. Wouldn't that just be fantastic? I think Hank Zilinksas will get a lot of credit, as will the entire line. Now, could Jordan Seaton find himself on this list? Yes, I'm expecting him to have some ups and downs, as any true freshman playing will. But I think he'll definitely find himself on a freshman all-conference list, maybe even all-American. I think that would be pretty thrilling. But Hank Zilinksas is that third guy, that third sleeper that I have. Again, if we're able to run the ball way better than we were last year, I think that Hank Zilinksas, along with the rest of the offensive line, particularly the guards, are going to be guys that are referenced well. Now, some other guys that I considered, again, when it came to running the ball, Khalil Benson, if he ends up starting at right tackle, a little unsure of maybe Ethan Boyd pops up and really balls out in fall camp. We'll see, but I think we all expect him to be the starter along with Justin Mayers and whoever wins that battle between Tyler Johnson and Tyler Brown. Some other guys that I've mentioned recently, DJ McKinney. We could have Cameron Silman-Craig. He was another name that I thought of that I think could have, again, led our team in interceptions last year. He could very well do that again this year in the Big 12. And, hey, if you're leading our team in interceptions, that needs to be recognized. And if we're going to be one of the better teams in the conference, you got to admit that, or you got to imagine that the people putting together these lists, voting for them, will recognize Cameron Silman-Craig as that. So we could also see a breakout, like I said, from somebody like Samuel Okunloa or Arden Walker, Keaton Wade. Really interested to see what happens with Keaton Wade, but a lot of very intriguing athletes that we have on the team. We got some guys that are coming back for their second year with Colorado, that being Mata, Hank Zilinksas, that I think have a great chance, and Nikhai Hill-Green, somebody who's been at Michigan, had an opportunity to be a 3-down linebacker at Charlotte this past year, and now has the opportunity to really establish himself back at that Power 4 level as a true 3-down linebacker on a team that desperately needs talent and depth at that linebacker position. So y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you had to choose 3 guys that weren't on that list that we talked about a couple weeks ago, let me know. I think Wester, I was looking at him, but I forgot that he was on the All-American list for special teams. But we got a handful of wide receivers that I think we should be pretty excited about. So I'll be back with my part 2 of my Shedeur Sanders versus Arizona film room. Then we'll probably go 3 parts or 4 parts. Be sure to check out the first part if you haven't seen it. Like and subscribe after you leave that comment down below. Appreciate you guys as always. Go Buffs.